we'll move into our very last working group today, which is the sustainability working group. You've heard from them a couple times, and so I would just want to give these people a particular shout out because they are a wealth of knowledge. I always tell people when I hear the word sustainability, I get a little bit intimidated and excited at the same time, and I think there's a reason behind that. And there's just so much to know in this area, just like there is in FinOps. And both Bingu and Mark have jointly been leading this working group, and I have to say they're setting records because they give themselves deadlines and they've been like exceeding them by week. So kudos to them, and I'll turn it over to Mark to really talk about what Sprint 0 and 1 objectives were.
Hello everyone. So yeah, we're at the point where we've completed our first two sprints, so Sprint 0 and Sprint 1. Sprint 0 was very much the baseline, which was to try and give us some clarity on the subject matter in the first place, to get us to a point where we actually understood what the vision was for the working group and what the link was between FinOps and what's now been known as greenops. We also wanted to do something because to give some actual hard deliverables for practitioner members. So we came up with a list of known kind of greenops remediation examples that are linked to FinOps. So the kind of savings that will actually help you reduce your carbon footprint of your services, and critically, obviously, give ourselves a high level framework for our next 3 sprints. And to be clear, we see this as being an ongoing working group that is not going to stop anytime soon. We've already got about another 10 to 12 sprints planned with key deliverables underway in the background. So if you want to go on to Sprint 1. So Sprint 1 was actually came out of feedback from members of the foundation, which was they got fed up with us throwing around sustainability terms that no one actually understood what they meant, why they were relevant, and why they should care. So we've come up with an overarching glossary of terms, and we've tried to link these back into the variety of FinOps personas as well, and linking that back into greenops. So it gives some clarity overall. And as you can see, there is a link to the website there, which you can now find all the content on. You can see where we are. And the key point with sustainability and FinOps is that it's very much like the Wild West right now. There is no real consistency. There are no hard and fast standards, and it is developing extremely fast. And the key point here is sustainability is going to start hitting all the other lovely, wonderful working groups as well, because it links into forecasting, it links into billing, it links into unit economics. Everything will be linked together as companies start focusing more and more on the carbon footprint of their digital services.
Thanks, Mark. I think looking at this glossary resonates of why I feel so intimidated. So I'm so happy to have this resource guide that I can go ahead and reference. The next year we were going to do the Menti, but I know we're having some difficulties with that. A lot of people did fill it out, so I figured we'll just share the results real quick. Bindu, what do you think about what you're seeing here?
Not surprised. So when we were going through our working group every week, we noticed we have new folks joining in, and this is what we see. So really not surprised, Ashley.
Perfect. Why don't you give us a little bit more direction on what you feel as a practitioner community we can take back to our organizations?
Yeah, sure. I think to your organization, first of all, identify the driver, right? What is your organization driver to kickstart the sustainability program? Now, there could be that there is already a sustainability program ongoing, so go and join them and understand their OKRs, understand what are their key objectives for next quarter, next year, and such. If not, identify yourself, what are your customer asking? Because we do see that customer demand, that what are your sustainability goals? If you're a smaller organization looking for investing, sometimes investment firms ask, how are you incorporating sustainability into your business goals? Apart from that, we have also noticed that employees are demanding it. Now, that's not at all a financial motivation. It's all personal. So that is something new that we have noticed, and it has a global impact rather than just the cost impact in an organization. So all in all, sustainability is impactful and it's well received. Now, once you have a charter defined for an organization through the driver, how do you go about starting the practice? Is what we have referred in Sprint 0. Look into that. There is a whole Excel spreadsheet on remediation examples at a very high level for go through usage optimization, eliminate unused and underutilized resources, go through your software architecture and try to see where you can use serverless, go through your compute hardware, how can you utilize minimum hardware to get your job done, look at your development and deployment and testing workloads, that how you can not use compute wherever not needed. And last but not the least is the data patterns, how you can reduce the redundant data and such. And at the same time, start thinking about the KPIs that you would measure, especially for carbon footprint and the dashboard that you want to see. There is also going on to the step 2 is how do you, once you have established kind of best practice and the methodology, how do you go about calculating those carbon footprints? So from the major cloud service providers, AWS, Google, and Microsoft, they have their tools that they provide that we can utilize to measure. And I think we are going to put it on the channel chat. Yes, thank you. And one recommendation that we would make as part of the working group is use the carbon footprint calculator. Also, it is cloud agnostic, and it is also at the same time, it is the word biased I want to use here. So I would recommend that once you have calculated through cloud service provider, also run your calculation through cloud carbon footprint, just to see what are the gaps, how similar your results are, and what are not. And develop very early on KPIs on your calculation. Go and start developing early dashboard. And going on to number 3 is continuously monitoring it and continuously improving it. Is you want to go now and measure the KPIs at a deep down level, like at an application level, rather than at the whole cloud infrastructure of your organization. You want to develop a personalized dashboard for a department, like say, business wants to see at a very high level that they can, put it on company's website of your carbon footprint. The finance wants to see it at each of the product level, whereas the engineering wants to see it at an application level. So those are, the starting points. If you want to move on to the next slide.
I think for the sake of time, we're going to take the sustainability adoption roadmap, and we'll have that kind of kick off the working group we'll have it kick off the breakouts that we want to get started here in a second. So again, find the sustainability chats, go ahead and share the win of the website that's been launched, and they are starting sprint 3. So there's a call of action if you're very interested in this. Join the weekly calls that are on Fridays, and then come on over to the break room. We'll talk about this a little bit further.
JR here from the FinOps Foundation. Thank you for watching. Please go to FinOps.org if you want to get plugged into this amazing community. And of course, hit subscribe right here on YouTube to get all the future content. Hope to see you soon.